I can't remember. I'll have to look it up because I don't like to just say nonsense without having citations.
Sure.
But it is true.
Okay, we're going to start this one out with the quintessential statement from SideburnsZA. He can't remember. He needs to look it up. He doesn't want to say without knowing for sure, but then he does anyway.
Both Winston SideburnsZA and me, LaoWiseGuy, we have our own channels. We do journalistic stuff there.
So I just put this part in here because I think it's pretty funny that they're trying to say with a straight face that they're some kind of journalist, I think some kind of serious journalist. Look at the picture behind them. You know, they wouldn't mock the Chinese people, would they? So they're nothing more than a couple of grifters who are often grifting on tragedy of the Chinese people, like in this case. Grifting is one thing. Laughing about it is a whole other thing. As serious journalists, we all know they would never do that, would they?
Okay, so sorry. The reason I'm putting this in is we got to put a little bit of humor into this. So we're not making fun of any kind of tragedy here, but like this is what the Chinese government's response was.
Yeah, I mean, this is insane.
So let's see what they did. Yeah.
Well, that's loud.
I know. Sorry. I wanted people to wake up, okay?
Does it make sense why they don't want people talking about flooding in Tiananmen Square, the gate of the heavenly kingdom?
Yeah. We've got some incredible footage coming out of China. First, we're going to start out with something that's quite unprecedented, and that is the Forbidden City being flooded.
You literally just said they don't want people talking about this. So then how did you get this footage?
So this is the first, he's saying he made a mistake, he said 1st of July, but he meant 1st of August.
It would make sense, there's no floods then. Anyway, I do want to point something out. This is something to pay attention to, and this is what took us a little while. China is trying to cover up this specific area.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting because when there were, videos coming out of people just taking videos, the location was getting wiped and censored.
Yes.
Not just the location, the name of the bridges, because they don't want people to know that there were bridges collapsed.
我现在在的位置叫新卢沟桥上，现在咱们看到的位置就是小清河桥。
Hold on, let's point this out. I was translating this, right? I was like, wait a minute. See the XXX on the screen?
Yes.
They're blocking out. And by the way, a lot of these clips were removed, period.
Yes.
But they were blocking out the name of the bridge in the subtitles.
Yeah, he cannot say the name in his subtitles because it's being completely censored.
So I have no idea why whoever made the video put the XXX in there, but obviously the government doesn't go in and alter your subtitles. This is the same video that you're looking at here, except I'm showing you the full screen. If we go down to the bottom of the screen, you can actually see where it says which is the name of the bridge. It even gives you the community that it's in.
Yeah. So anyway, we thought this was really interesting, and it took us ages, but we finally figured out where it is.
Yeah.
I watched your whole video. I didn't see any evidence that you figured out where it is. And it's not surprising. That's the train track that's not built yet, that runs behind the actual bridge. You can see those wires in the video. You can see that post right there. You can see this is the bridge actually that fell down. You can see there's no train tracks behind it, high-speed rail. It's not there yet. This is a spillway, and you can see that it's normally dry. So the video looks, quite different. It might be very difficult to pick out. And I don't think you guys actually found it.
I mean, I would also be like, let's go remove the cars off of the bridge. Let's
make sure there's no one in there.
Yeah, let's make sure that the bridge is properly sealed off, make sure it's all safe, make sure that, let's start clearing the debris. Let's go and search over there. But what does the Chinese government do?
What do you guys think? This is a live show, right, guys? Yeah. What do you think was their priority? And you can get a hint from the fact that the bridge name was subtitles were removed.
Yeah, they're removed. You can't even say the name of this bridge.
Let's have a look.
Yeah.
就是这个水呢过来之后，水势太大了，然后这个桥呢发生了被看。现在这几辆车没有掉下去啊，真是捡着了，主上保佑了哈。那么这边的噪音是从哪儿传来的呢？噪音是这个啊。再是这个装了这个遮挡的板，这个遮挡板呢，就是遮挡板吧啊！希望所有看到这个视频的人都平平安安的、顺顺利利的、逢凶化吉啊
！Did you see that?
I mean,
yeah, I hope everybody saw that. rather than go and actually address the problem, they send the people out to put up these barriers on the side so nobody can see it.
They physically censored the bridge collapse so people don't think that a bridge collapsed.
So you can't see the collapsed
Instead of
bridge
rescuing.
from the road.
Yes, instead of rescuing.
Yeah, instead of sending people out to actually address the problem, the priority of the Chinese government is to censor that there is a problem. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up because I don't like to just say nonsense without having citations,
sure.
but it is true.
Couple of journalists, yeah, right. There's video evidence that the bridge was blocked off while it was still raining. And I can guarantee you that they checked those cars to make sure there's nobody in them before they blocked the road. Not to mention the fact that there's roads running on both sides of this spillway, and there's a whole community living along the other side. You think they're not going to be able to see it? So I don't know why they were putting up that blue sheeting, but neither do you. So all these Baidu street views are from 2020. This is another bridge that's just a little ways away from that one that fell down. That blue sheeting is typical construction material that they use.
But I think the most important takeaway as to why, we were covering what Winston was talking about. Why such a big cover up?
Yeah.
Why would you need to cover up a flood that's public? It's happening in public.
He's right. His question answers itself. It's a stupid question. There were actually thousands of posts on social media, obviously. So yesterday on Weibo, I typed in the name of the bridge, and I saw more than 100 videos for this bridge alone, including this one taken from a high-speed train. During the height of the disaster, some of the trains were delayed, but they continued to run. You'd think, being a journalist, you guys would have picked up on that.
These images that you see behind are in and around Beijing, and the main newspapers are pretty much void of any of this stuff.
Yeah, well, like you said, only the choice images.
Right?
Well, look at, here's the...
People's Daily Online. Xi Jinping, Xi extends condolences to Pakistani president over suicide bomb attack. Okay. What else do we got?
We have
China
rice
goes all
growing.
out.
They're doing promotion of rice growing, by the way. We're back in the Cultural Revolution / the Great Leap Forward again.
Yes.
But go forward a little bit. Because there's one little headline there.
Yeah, it says there, China goes all out to tackle typhoon-induced torrential rain and floods.
Did it though? I think what China did was go all out and put up sensors on the bridges so people can't see the bridge collapses.
I mean, the fact that the front page of the biggest news site only mentions it like that, is it? And again, it's like, oh, typhoon induced, it's nothing to do with like our bad infrastructure or our bad response.
Really? This is the biggest news site, or just one you cherry-picked? Not to mention that you're being outright deceptive. The page you're showing is Wednesday, August the 2nd. This is Tuesday, August the 1st. The headline reads, Xi orders all-out rescue of people missing, trapped in floods, geological disasters. I thought you guys were journalists.
The biggest thing that I can take away from all of this, honestly, is the fact that my friends living in other parts of China didn't even know this was happening.
And again, I think that there's an alibi from the CCP's part. It's because, yes, we covered it, right? Yes, you can go on state media and you can see, yes, there was flooding. Yes, the rescue efforts were successful.
Yeah.
But it's because of the way it was covered. It's subtext.
Yes.
It's on the back burner. It's like, yeah, we covered it and we only showed some choice images.
I've been speaking to friends in China.
Yep, same.
And they don't even know this is going on.
Not a clue. I had to talk to people in Beijing. Yeah. Outside of Beijing, people didn't even know. And actually, I lied. One person knew about it, and it was like, oh, I saw that on the news. But it was like a quick little...
This is the kind of thing that you would expect to be front page news everywhere. Everyone should know about.
But again, the crazy thing about this is that a lot of people I spoke to don't really know about it. And that's insane.
Yeah. And if they've heard about it, they're like, oh, it's just something small. It's no big deal. It's only like in some outlying areas or something.
Wow, you guys are pretty worried about that. I'm pretty sure if you send the government your friend's contact information, next time something like this happens, they'll contact them directly. Maybe your friends don't have a TV?
再来追踪备受关注的北京丰台区小清河桥垮塌的后续消息。北京丰台区防汛办消息，受到永定河分洪影响，致卢沟桥西侧的小清河桥局部坍塌，当时5辆车落水，部分车辆被困桥上。
再来追踪北京丰台区小清河桥垮塌的后续消息。北京丰台区防汛办消息，受永定河分洪影响，至卢沟桥西侧的小清河桥局部坍塌，当时5辆车落水，部分车辆被困桥上。经初步判定，
这是哎呀，桥塌了，多小人！那边的桥塌了，这车刚冲下来，这是哎呀，桥塌了。
This that you see over here is the Beijing International Airport. Now, this was only completed about 4 years ago, and it cost something ridiculous. How much did it end up costing? I think it was 80 billion yuan.
Yeah, so it ended up being...
In US dollars, what is that?
In US dollars, it ended up being $11.4 billion for one airport.
Yeah, but that's a brand new megastructure.
Yeah.
Okay, in China, it was the systems there were designed by a French firm, I believe. Mm-hmm. But this is what happens: is most of the big buildings in China and big infrastructure projects actually are foreign designed, but it's the construction.
Yeah.
When they do the construction, they use tofu drake construction practices. They take shortcuts. But anyway,
poor materials, poor building practices.
Yeah.
Oh, so now I understand why SideburnsZA probably thinks that all the flooding was caused by drainage. He might have seen this guy's Twitter feed the day before they made the Smear China show. I've seen this guy's Twitter feed before. He hates Chinese people, especially Chinese women.
This is just their bad infrastructure.
Yeah.
They're trying to hide the fact that it's actually bad planning on part of the government is why these cities flood anyway.
Right.
Bad enforcement of planning. I mean, even if they plan it right, they don't enforce the codes and so on. So when the construction people come in, they cut corners. They don't put in proper drainage. They don't do this stuff. But no one's there to like say, hey, you didn't do it. They're just like, okay, give me money and I'll turn a blind eye. Yeah.
It makes sense.
You know, back to the whole drainage issue.
Yeah.
The reason why you see so much flooding in all of the big cities in China, not just Beijing. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up because I don't like to just say nonsense without having citations.
Sure.
But it is true.
And that's the thing is that we lived in China so long. We know what the drainage system is like in these cities. But when you're in the north, you don't usually have to deal with this kind of thing because they don't get flooding and typhoons.
Yeah. Like I was saying earlier, even the cities that do experience high volume of rainfall every year, the drainage doesn't work anyway.
Yes.
That's due to poor planning and also poor construction. And, you know, of course, the drains and everything get blocked up because of the way the system works there when it comes to getting rid of trash and stuff. They just throw things into the drains. And
that's another thing is that even the drainage that does exist in some areas is all clogged up with fats and lipids, oils, motor oil. Things like this, right? Things solidify.
Yeah. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up because I don't like to just say nonsense without having citations. But it is true.
It's a fake
Same with the drainage. I mean, we've seen some... Remember, I've got clips of that guy pulls up the drain and there's just dirt underneath because there is actually
there's no drain.
So it's all these shortcuts. Yeah, exactly. There's shortcuts are taken when it comes to the infrastructure. And this is the result. And Chinese cities historically have been incredibly bad at drainage. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up because I don't like to just say nonsense without having citations. But it is true.
Right.
But all modern Chinese cities do not have good drainage. There's not one.
Yeah.
There isn't. No. So whenever a rain comes or a typhoon, you're going to have these scenes in this kind of situation.
Importantly, guys, you have to know that China, this is the worst flooding, the worst disaster from floods that China's ever seen in documented history.
Yeah.
That's kind of an important detail.
It is an important detail.
Wait a minute here. SideburnsZA just got finished telling us the problem is the drains, tofu drake construction, and corruption. It's got nothing to do with the worst storm in recorded history.
Well, we're the first people to tell you that we're not even asking for like regime change or economic collapse and replacing the government or anything like that.
I do want there to be a regime change. I want
I
want the CCP out. I mean, we're realistic.
Yes.
But I would love it if the CCP would just kick the hell out. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up because I don't like to just say nonsense without having citations. But it is true.